morning. Welcome to Lamond Wellness. I'm Dr. Tiffany Lamond, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make homemade mayonnaise, which as a nutritionist and as a doctor of physical therapy, you probably think that's a little weird, but my family really actually likes mayonnaise a lot. And so I have created a few different recipes. And today I'm going to give you some ideas how I like to flavor it to make it a little bit special, but I'm going to take you through the process of making homemade mayonnaise because people think it's really intimidating. It's actually pretty easy, but it does require a little bit of patience. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is there's different recipes where they do only yolks, they do 1 egg, they do 2 eggs. I'm going to use 2 eggs, and I think the key to success here is the eggs need to be room temperature. So I'm just going to crack these. I use a Vitamix. You can use a hand blender, a regular blender, or what do they call those? Food processor. So you can use either one of those. I actually keep my eggshells now. I have a friend who I get my eggs from, and they use the eggshells and in their garden, and they use my food scraps to feed the chickens. So it's like this circle of life. Now my food scraps feed the chickens that give me healthy eggs. It's kind of nice. So I'm gonna put the 2 eggs in the blender, and then this is where, there's a lot of variety if you watch different recipes. I'm just gonna show you what I typically do. So first thing I'm gonna do is normally I like to use half of a fresh lemon, but I don't have any, so I'm just gonna use like 2 teaspoons of lemon. And if you've ever watched me cook, I don't measure very well. I just kind of throw stuff in and fix it to taste. Then I'm going to put in a little bit of granulated garlic, not too much. Oh, it's kind of stuck. There we go, just a little. I'm gonna say that's less than 1/4 teaspoon. Then I probably will save the pepper for the end, and another special spice that I like to put in at the end. I'm gonna use a pinch of sea salt. This happens to be a pink Himalayan sea salt. I'm gonna say that's probably about 1/4 teaspoon. I may put in more later. Then any vinegar you want. I actually really like to use some of those fancy sweeter vinegars from like Gabby's Olive Branch or Blue Ridge Olive Company, but I don't have any today, so I'm going to use an apple cider vinegar, which I think has a pretty strong flavor, so I would caution you, but I would use a light colored one. So I'm going to use, this is about 2 teaspoons of vinegar. And then if I were to measure this, which I never do, I just put a big blob in, but I'm gonna say it's probably about a heaping teaspoon of Dijon mustard. And then I'm going to add I'm gonna say this is probably less than a teaspoon, but just a drizzle of honey. As you can see, I'm not exactly like a chef where I don't touch anything with my fingers. I definitely touch everything. So now I'm going to turn off the sound on the video, but I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to do it on low. We're just going to emulsify it together. I'll stop it for now. Take the top off, and then I'm going to use avocado oil. You can use a lot of different oils: grapeseed oil, olive oil, avocado oil. I like avocado oil for a couple of reasons. One, it doesn't have a strong flavor, where olive oil has a pretty distinct flavor. You can even use a combination of those things. Grapeseed oil is another nice option, but this is a cold pressed, organic, non-GMO. Oh, and they won an award last year, this avocado oil. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it in this measuring cup, and I'm gonna measure out about a cup. I don't think I'll use it all, so I might actually start with less than that and then increase. And I also probably could pour it straight out of here if I felt confident in my abilities to get the proportions right. Because the hardest part is pouring it so slowly that it doesn't run down the side of the jar. So we're gonna start with that, and that is a little over 1/2 cup. The trick is to put it in really, really slowly. So, especially in the beginning. I'm just gonna put a little bit. I might increase the speed just a touch. And I'll fast forward through this because this is gonna take a while. This takes up to 2 minutes to put it all in. Okay, so now I have the mayonnaise pretty close to done. And I'm gonna kind of add what I think is the secret ingredient. Now, keep in mind, this changes the color a little bit, but it really does add a nice flavor. I'm going to add like a little more than a 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika. A couple of things that are also nice, I think adding some basil pesto is nice, caramelized onions, there's all sorts of different things that you can add. So if you wanted to maybe take this portion and put it in half and make half of it as a regular and half of it as a flavored, that's a nice option. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blend in this last flavor, and then I'm gonna taste it. I'm gonna see if it needs anything. I think it's gonna probably need a little bit of pepper and probably a little bit of salt, but we'll see. Definitely. So it needs a little more salt. And needs some pepper. I'm going to say that's probably another 1/4 teaspoon of pepper and at least a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Yum, that's good. Okay, so there it is. I'm gonna put it in the jar and I'll show you the final product. So this is to kind of give you an idea of the consistency. Now when it first comes out of the blender, it's a little bit warm, so it's not as thick as it will get. Once it's cooled down, it actually gets even thicker. But that is, oopsie. That is my homemade mayonnaise. That's a big mess. I'm gonna need to clean that up.